4 indie titles that I am most excited for rolling into 2026. 2026 is right around the corner, and with it, we've closed out 2025 with some pretty spectacular indie titles, and 2026 is not looking any differently. But here are 4 indie titles that I am most excited for when it comes to the new year. And moving into the future, we have a very futuristic first game on this list, and that is Mio, Memories of Orbit. Mio, Memories of Orbit is a 2D Metroidvania action-adventure side-scrolling game. You play as Mio, an agile android who awakens aboard a massive drifting spaceship called the Vessel, once a high-functioning technological ark, now overrun by lush vegetation and rogue machines. The vessel's AI caretakers, known as the Pearls, have stopped functioning, leaving the ship in danger of permanent shutdown. Your mission is to explore the vessel's labyrinthine depths, uncover forgotten memories, and forge a path through a haunting sci-fi world filled with mystery and lore. You'll use Mio's traversal abilities like wall clinging, gliding, and a grappling hook style move to discover new territory and secrets. You'll find a diverse cast of over 30 enemy types and formidable bosses, and boy do we love boss fights. You can scavenge components to enhance and customize Mio's abilities, tailoring combat and traversal to your style. The art direction draws on sci-fi, comics, anime, and surrealist influences, paired with an evocative soundtrack blending lo-fi and choral elements. And rather than heavy text walls, much of the story unfolds through the world and its fragmented memories, making every corner of the vessel feel rich with hidden meaning and intrigue. From the incredible setting of a forgotten world full of broken memories to the satisfying Metroidvania progression loop, it's poised to appeal to players who love atmospheric storytelling and thoughtful exploration. Now, if a sci-fi future isn't quite your vibe and you'd rather take a look at a nostalgic past, this next game on the list might be perfect. And that is Mixtape. Mixtape is an upcoming indie narrative adventure game that's all about nostalgia, music, and the exhilarating last night of youth. And it's drawing a lot of attention for how it combines emotional storytelling with a killer soundtrack. At its heart, Mixtape is a coming-of-age story set during the final night of high school for 3 friends. You'll follow them as they wander through memories and real-time moments, from skateboarding and fast food runs to awkward first kisses and parties, all framed around a curated playlist of iconic music that plays like the emotional soundtrack to growing up. The game's narrative rhythm is deeply tied to its music. Each track helps trigger dreamlike vignettes and events that reflect on friendship, identity, and that bittersweet thrill of that one last night before life changes. While Mixtape isn't a traditional arcade or action game, it blends exploration, narrative moments, and dynamic interludes inspired by its soundtrack. Players can expect cinematic sequences and interactions that evoke iconic 1980s and 90s coming-of-age films. Most moments in this game are music-driven moments, where the beats on your playlist influence what you see and how scenes unfold. They're relatable everyday youth experiences, like cruising town streets, hanging out with friends, and making choices that echo emotionally. The art and vibe are stylized to feel like a blend of warm nostalgia and cinematic storytelling, giving it dreamlike quality that many players are already comparing to emotional-rich games like Life is Strange, but with its own distinct personality. Mixtape feels like a slice of life set to music, a game where the soundtrack isn't just background, but it's part of the storytelling. Big names rumored for the soundtrack include Joy Division, The Cure, The Smashing Pumpkins, and even Iggy Pop. It hints at how central music will be to both narrative and mood. If you love games that feel like stories you live, that blend sound and emotion in creative ways, Mixtape is definitely one to keep an eye on, and it gets closer to launching next year. If nostalgia's not your boot from the 80s and 90s and you'd rather be looking for that dystopian sci-fi that things like Blade Runner delivered, then this next game on the list might be amazing. Replaced is an upcoming 2.5D cinematic action platformer game. The setup is a dark retro-futuristic world that drops you into an alternate 1980s America reshaped by nuclear catastrophe and ruled by corruption. You play as Reach, research engine for altering and composing humans, an advanced artificial intelligence trapped in a human body against its will. The game's story centers on the Phoenix Corporation, a powerful and sinister organization lurking behind the city's decay and exploitation. As Reach, you'll uncover hidden truths about your own creation and the society that treats human life like a currency. This game blends multiple elements into gameplay to create something that feels both classic and fresh. It has cinematic action platforming, which you'll love through richly detailed environments environments, from crumbling urban sprawl to neon-soaked alleyways, using fluid movement and precise platforming. Combat is dynamic and responsive, letting you chain melee strikes, ranged attacks, and quick maneuvers, and fast-paced encounters that keep you moving while telling a story through action. Rather than just a series of levels, the world itself tells the story. Morally complex characters, dystopian themes, and revelations about identity and autonomy unfold as you explore. The art style is handcrafted pixel art, enhanced with modern lighting and effects, striking, moody, and uniquely atmospheric, supported by a synth-driven soundtrack that heightens the retro cyberpunk vibe. If you love games with rich atmosphere, thoughtful, world-provoking, and immersive action, Replaced is shaping up to be an outstanding indie release in 2026. It's definitely one I already have wishlist on Steam. Now, if you want less dystopia, more whimsy, and less sci-fi and more fantasy, this next game is also incredible. Announced at the 2025 Game Awards, I am super excited to dive into this next one, and that is Coven of the Chickenfoot. Play as Gertie, an elderly witch who resides in a world where the classic heroes have long since finished their quests and moved on. Gertie quietly takes up her own challenge to prove herself to her coven. To do that, she must partner with an unusual companion, a curious creature with its own growing personality. The companion reacts to your actions, learns from situations, and evolves over time, shaping how you solve puzzles and traverse the world together. Rather than focusing on swordplay or classic combat, Coven of the Chickenfoot centers on creative problem solving and cooperation with your companion. Players explore environments like dark dungeons, lush forests, catacombs of fallen heroes, and mucky bogs that dare you to traverse them. It features puzzle platforming, where you navigate environmental challenges by using your witchcraft, wit, and the creature's adaptive skills. The non-playable friend isn't static. It observes you, evolves abilities, and surprises you as you play. It also features wordless storytelling. Instead of dialogue, the game conveys narrative and emotion through environmental cues, visual storytelling, and the growing bond between Gertie and her companion. All set in a stylized world where the visuals embrace a hand-drawn, whimsical fantasy style that pairs charm with just the right hint of darkness. If you're into games that feel alive, invite curiosity, and tell their story through interaction and exploration, rather than words alone, this one is definitely worth keeping an eye on as it gets closer to release. Now, a few of these games don't even have an announced release date yet, but that's not stopping me from wishlisting them on Steam. I am so incredibly excited to see all of these come out and play them myself. Let me know down in the comments which one you're most excited for, and if there's any games that I missed that you would like to see on this list. And if you could like this video to let the algorithm know that you want to see more of me, and if you want to do me a huge favor, it would mean the world to me if you'd hit the subscribe button as well. In the meantime, I'm going to go check some more of these games out, and I'll see you in the next one.